Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you all because it's 6 o'clock. It's Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. It's live. Right alongside, I'm James Bryant, along with two-time world champion, the man with the plan, and the white beard and the nick under his right eye, Mr. Dion Hibden. Good evening, Dion. How you doing tonight?
What did you say under my right eye?
Nick.
Oh, a nick. Oh, thank God.
You got a nick under your eye.
I wasn't sure what you said.
It's a nick.
Look, you just strolled through the door.
Our one and only sponsor.
Our biggest fan and only sponsor.
Say hello, everybody, to Mr. Lloyd Morgan, proprietor of Hiawatha Beach Resort. Him and his lovely wife, June, are big-time financiers of the podcast.
He's probably getting loosened up for pumping all that gas tomorrow at his marina.
That's right. So let's get down to brass tacks. How was your week?
It's been good.
You went fishing, didn't you?
I fished almost every day since I was here last.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got a lot to talk about then.
I fished 4 days. Well, I don't know about that. It wasn't that great of fishing. But I went out a lot.
Yeah, we're back going again.
Yeah, it was okay. We caught them a little bit every day. So
cool.
Ought to be a good Toyota, I would think.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about on that this week because we have a special guest today.
That's right.
It's special. I don't mean it's special like you're special,
right.
But nice guy from Minnesota, Richmond, Minnesota. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tony Hatten. Tony, welcome to Real Unfiltered Talk. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me. You're
probably ground out from pounding out on the water all week, aren't you?
Well, 5 days of practice, and yeah, it's been tough. So it's a lot of casting and not much catching, or hooking, or shaking. So
I don't know.
It's been a grind.
As we always do every week on the show, Tony's hails out of Richmond, Minnesota. He's a Minnesotan, which is my favorite one. You know what those little insects are that bite you up there and suck the blood out of you?
Yeah, mosquitoes.
Mosquito.
Yeah,
you ever heard that one?
No.
That's a mosquito.
Brand new one for me.
That's a new one. So Tony is an MLF angler. He's had 26 total events. He's got a top 10 on Lake Wiley.
That is correct.
Did make the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. Did you qualify for that one, I believe?
I qualified, kind of qualified last year. They had invited a lot of people in, but to the invitationals, but I declined.
But you got there, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
Got there, that's what counts. $14,046 in career earnings.
Loaded.
You're way up on me.
Yeah.
So you got it. So there you go. That's what you need to know about Tony. Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, from central Minnesota. Born and raised there. I lived there for 30-some years. I moved out to California for a couple of years and then moved out to North Carolina. Lived out there on Lake Norman for 5 years.
That's it?
Is that where we met?
Well, that's where we met, yeah.
North Carolina, that's what I thought.
Married, kids, single?
I'm married.
Divorced?
I've got 5 stepkids.
5, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Are they going to watch tonight?
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Gotcha. So Tony's down here. We've got the Toyota Series MLF tournament here at the Lake of the Ozarks here in central Missouri. Been down pre-fishing all week. Tell us about the lake. What's going on out there? How has it changed from last year, if at all?
Well, it's changed a lot from last year. It's way behind, I think. We're still seeing a little bit of summer pattern, and the fish are a little bit confused. The water's a little bit too warm, and so they're kind of confused as to what's going on. The shad are confused as to what's going on. We got fish in 6 inches of water and 20 feet of water.
Gotcha.
So,
I don't know if they're confused as much as they're just divvied up.
Yeah.
There's a lot out deep. There's a few up shallow. It's just they're scattered here, there, and yonder.
All right. So Mama Stella's online. She says you can't see Tony's face because the pole's in the way.
It is.
So I got to slide you over. Scoot my with it. I got to make Mama happy, otherwise you get in trouble.
That's right.
There you go.
How about me, Mom? Can you see me?
Over there.
I'm just
we can't miss you.
Can you see me yet?
There, that's a little better. There we go. Stella, if you can see that there, I got him straight now. So
I'm the only important one to her.
We're better. So, yeah. So back to the lake. It's behind. The water temperature's really, really high still too, isn't it?
Yeah, it started out 82 5 days ago, surface temp, and it's down today. This morning it was like 77. So it's slowly starting to drop, and it takes a long time for that water to really change temperature.
Guys, I'm striking out tonight. I got the next one that says, hey, I got to turn the music down, too. I never turned that off. So we got music going. We got everything else. Let's turn off the music now.
Epic fail.
Damn, thanks, Ken. We'll get it. I haven't even drank tonight, so we got her now. Okay, we can start all over.
It's good that we have interactive fans.
That is good. So maybe
unlike
we'll
our crowd that
together.
normally helps us.
Yeah,
you guys are sitting out there like lumps on a log.
It's because they're drinking tonight.
Yeah,
the bourbon is flowing in the studio. So hey, thanks. We had a great turnout tonight. Thanks.
Well, normally you would tell us if something was going wrong. Oh, we're gonna
see how this is?
Yeah,
it just goes south in a hurry every time.
That's good.
So yeah, so we're getting all of our housekeeping straightened up. Again, this is Real Unfiltered Talk. We're live, and if you couldn't hear me before, we've got a Minnesota angler, Tony Hatten, on, who's going to be down here fishing this weekend on the Toyota Series at the FLW or MLF or whatever you want to call it now. Is it MLF?
It's MLF.
I like your
MLS
shirt too.
Toyota
You gotta spread
Series.
that out so everybody can see it. It says, "Remember when Scope was a mouthwash?" I kind of like that one. That's a good one.
That's a swindle shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does every pro angler sell a T-shirt now with their political agenda behind it?
Well, maybe.
I'm just curious. We need to make one.
We're missing the boat.
Yep.
Him and Lulu have some catchy phrases. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What would yours say?
I don't know. It's got to be something catchy like that.
Fat and happy and jigging with it.
That's right. Something that could be. Hey, see,
Getting jiggy with it.
We need to write that down right now because it'll never come out again that good.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be fat and something and not catchy.
Yeah. 5. Well, mine would say 5 for 11.5 is fine with me.
Yeah. I'll take 11.5 both days just right now, the way it's
don't
going.
start going there.
Yeah,
Jeez.
right now.
Yeah.
Right now, you'd be solid.
I'll get in the swing here a little bit. Here locally, I want to give a shout out. I haven't heard anything, but it's not gossip. I guess it's fact. But one of our anglers, Mark Dunbar,
Yeah.
he was sitting in traffic the other day at a standstill and got rear-ended horrifically bad. And last I heard, he was going into surgery. He had shattered his back, and so thoughts and prayers out to Mark if he's out there. Or, I haven't heard a whole lot, so we don't know what's going on there. But
I hadn't heard that.
yeah, well, that's why I'm telling you about it tonight. So it was just a couple days
Wow.
ago. Other than that, I mean, I don't have a whole lot going on my end, other than the fact that we're awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't fish this week, so I got held up. So you have to make fun of me on that one. But
You will next week.
this could be interesting.
It will be fun.
Yeah, we tentatively, and just so you guys have a heads up, Wednesday's going to be an amazing show. We're not going to have a guest because Deanna and I are going to fish a tournament on Tuesday. So
That's right.
So a buddy tournament. So we'll see how that goes out because we've never fished a tournament together before.
Might only be one of us come back.
Yeah. But I guarantee you we're going to get at least 11 pounds.
I hope so. I hope
And
you're
I have
right.
to swing them because you
See,
already
he
said
hasn't
you don't
been going,
net.
has he?
Yeah, he has not been on the water.
He's not been on the water.
No, it's all good. I talked to a guy today. He gave me the lowdown.
Oh, that's good.
He did.
That's good.
He told me where it's at. So what is the bite, Tony? I mean, I don't know. You can't. I mean, I don't want to say this disrespectfully, but you haven't been bragging.
No.
Too big. So I'm not saying that you're going to go up there and get your ass handed to you, but because everything changes come tomorrow when you launch.
Right.
But like we talked earlier, the water's hot. Top water bites maybe coming on, maybe not. It's kind of up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally up in the air. Top water is going to happen one of these days, and it happens sporadically. And I don't know. I've had one good one pull off on a top water in practice. Last year I think I weighed 5 of my 10 fish, or 5 of my 10 the first 2 days on top water.
10 pounds? Or 5 of your 10 total fish?
5 of my 10
I would say
total
5
fish.
for 10.
No, I had a 6-pounder last year on top
Nice.
water. Yeah.
Really? The last year's tournament?
He actually
Yeah,
had
day
two-
one.
Did you get
actually
big
had
fish?
2 6-pounders because he had one the last day that was almost 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, no, that was the year before. That was the TBF National Championship out here that I caught that 6-pounder on day 2.
So Lake's good to you every once in a while.
Yeah.
Good for one at least.
I fished 3 tournaments out here. I've caught 3 6-pounders.
See, we should fish together. Tony and I should fish together because that way I get the 12 plus the kicker.
You knocked yourself out.
Game
You don't scare
over.
me.
Right.
Nah, I'm not gonna do
That would mean I'd have to stay here another week.
That's okay. That's all good. That's all good. So you guys met in North Carolina? South Carolina?
Yeah, we met through a mutual friend, Gary Collins, who I think you drew as a co-angler at one time.
You used to fish with me as a co-angler.
Yep. And so we met through Gary. We went out to dinner in 2008 is when we met. And went out to dinner with Dion and Stella and Guido and Chad Morgan Taylor and his wife, and Shin and his wife, Mayu, whatever.
Miyu.
And it kind of went from there. We ended up, I called him up and said, hey, I'm going up to Champlain. Is there a possibility I could, practice with you as a co-angler? And we just became steady friends since then and kept in touch all these years, and here we are.
Tony, that's a boring story. There's no, nothing exciting or anything. I like to start with, we've talked about defecating off sides of boats.
Right.
Yeah. You probably heard those.
Yeah.
So, it's I called him and he said, sure, and you guys are friends, and that's it?
Well,
damn, dude.
Kind of. We practiced together for 3-4 days up there. And
do you think he really gives you the good stuff?
We kind of...
Yeah, we had a hell of a time up there.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
The thing of it is, with these co-anglers, when you meet up with them, you can tell, an 8-hour day, you can tell, hey, I really don't want to spend another minute with this dude.
Right.
But like I say, if I keep inviting him back, something must have worked, so.
Sure.
So it's okay. I mean, he keeps coming back. And
did we talk about that?
I keep saying, okay, come on back, so.
I don't know. Did we talk about it on the air last week about co-anglers, or was it after the show when I was talking about the angler who now is a prominent outdoor rider that ate a head of cabbage in the back of the boat?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, was that during the show or was it? But
that wasn't on the show.
I drew a guy on Grand Lake back when it was Ever Starts, and when it's come down to snack time, he reaches in his bag, he pulls out a raw head of cabbage, and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he said, well, girlfriend or wife told me I need to eat healthy. And I said, well, there's a whole bunch of things better that you could eat than freaking cabbage. And I guess back in the day that was a thing.
There was one of those fad diets there for a little while.
But, dude, I'm telling you right now, Tony, his gas was so bad, 2 hours later, that out in the boat, I couldn't get away from it. I mean, I was trolling away from all the best bites just to get away from his fumes.
Running upwind.
It was bad.
It was a good fad diet. I mean, it made you poop like a goose.
Yep. And one of these days I'll say it was, but he is now a very prominent rider in the bass fishing community. And back then he was.
Is he skinny?
He used to be.
Diet didn't work or what?
No, he used to be.
Not eating enough cabbage nowadays. Or?
Ooh, now we're shaking.
No, it's good. I'm watching this one. So do you know Brad Wiggeman?
Yes, I do.
He kind of looked like him. So anyway, but I'm not going to name names of the guy who ate cabbage and farted in the boat. But he kind of looked like Brad Wiggeman. So anyway,
So you're going to throw Brad Wiggeman under the bus?
No, I didn't
not
say
the guy who actually did it. Just
didn't say it was
he
him.
Looked
I
like
said he
him.
looked a whole lot like him. If you go to the FLW records in I think 2000, I think Brad might have fished that tournament. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So I didn't mean to steal into it.
And how'd you finish there?
We did talk about that, didn't we? This is happening off the air. So day one, we were talking about the rough wind and Grand Lake, but do you know Grand well?
I know it enough.
Okay, so my first stop was on Governor's Island.
Okay. And
I went on the backside. There's one single dock there, and I threw a clown jerk bait. First cast, I catch a 410 Kentucky, and I thought that was pretty cool. Went and caught a couple more fish, and it got better, but I ended up with 3. And at the first day, I was in 50th. And I thought, hell yeah. And when I saw the leader, I'd been fishing around him the entire day. So I was super pumped because I knew the next day I was going to make a big rebound. I was going to get the check line. The leader zeroed the second day. We went back to the same water. Neither one of us caught a fish. So as always in those series, I finished 189, 198, somewhere in there on a 200 boat.
I'm having a whole season of that.
Yeah. I can't say anything about those tournaments in those days because I always tell everybody, they said, did you fish those series? And I said, yeah. I said, fished a couple years. I said, I'm really easy to find. Scroll all the way to the bottom and go up about 2. And you'll generally find me right in there. Yep.
Just don't zero.
Yep, they call it. I did a couple times, but that was, I'm very sensitive on that, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive.
You're talking to a guy that went from 14th on Gunnersville a couple of years ago in a Toyota, my first Toyota I ever fished, to zeroing on day 1 the next year.
Yeah, it happens. It's fishing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the only sad part about that is he liked it so much when he finished 14th, he bought a house down there.
That's true.
So you knew it a whole lot better than you should have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to have a friend tell me, say, if you don't go for it, what's the purpose of fishing for 80th?
That's right.
You might as well go 198 if you don't go for it all the way, right?
If I go down, I go down hard.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. I'm not gonna. You're not going to see me out there chasing around trying to catch them little knuckleheads.
Yeah, it doesn't make
It's
any
just a fair warning for next Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
If I don't catch them, I'm damn sure not going to catch them in an Angry Pirate tournament.
I can see where this is going. Yeah, we are fishing a $40 tournament, by
That's
the way.
right.
So I'm just so that's just clear, you know. So,
I'm either weighing in the 20s or I'm weighing in none.
And Tony, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to get a chance to talk now, but you know he's not and refuses to be a net guy.
Yeah.
So you know, we'll see how this plays out.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Dion not real quick.
No, I'm
That's
not.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably quick when he needs to be. Look at.
I'm okay.
Not so much.
I'm okay. I'm not as good as I used to be around the boat.
So where are we going next now?
Fishing. Yeah, let's get to fishing. Let's get off this other crap. And
No, what?
let's talk more about fishing.
Wasn't that fishing?
That was
A
fishing.
little bit.
All right.
Fishing's kind of weird right now. I mean, being out there with Tony and being out with Lawson a couple days, and the neat thing about it is I experienced exactly the same thing with both of them, and fishing, a few different ways. I don't think the bait's the deal at all. What you're throwing's got very little to do with it. But it seemed like when we got around the fish, it really didn't matter what you're throwing. I would be throwing something different than Tony. Yesterday, when me and Lawson were fishing, and Bo at Bojangles was fishing with us, on every time we fished around a boat dock or fished around shallow brush, we were all three throwing different baits. And nobody really got a whole lot more bites than any of the other two until when we got around them. When we got around them, all three of us were getting bit, and so that kind of leads me to the point that when you're around them, they're actually feeding a little bit, but you fish one little patch of docks or one little patch of wood, and you get a couple bites, and you think, oh, I know 10 more spots just like this. And you go fish them, and you don't get a bite. And you're like, wow, look at this. And then there you go. You pull up on one dock, and you get 4 bites off one dock. And Lawson was like, man, why are they doing this? I said, you think about that. That's not a bad thing if you just know they're not going to be everywhere. Through the day, you're going to hit on them probably a couple of times. And when you do get around them and you do get a bite, then be ready, because you're going to catch a couple right there, and you might have some hour-long stretches where you don't get a nibble, but you just got to be ready when you do get around them, because it seems like they're and to me, it's like Tony said, we're just a little bit early, and I think they're just now getting there. And I think there's still a lot of fish out deeper. You're probably running your boat over the top of a lot of bass that haven't moved up where we're fishing, and I think
technology's going to find those.
Yeah, some of them.
If they can catch them.
Some of them, but
catch them. So
but
you
see,
tried.
Yeah,
I got you.
See, there's a weird deal with even forward facing. If they get in that in between range, if they're out there deeper, yep, I don't like it, because them guys are going to catch them. Some of those, forward facing guys are going to catch them. But when they get in that 5 to 10 foot range, that's not easy. That's not easy to do with that stuff. So, and like I say, you think 5 to 10 foot, oh, that's an easy depth range. Well, a lot of guys are fishing shallower than that, and you're just fishing over the top of a lot of those fish. There's going to be some dude in this tournament that go out there and schlep around these docks with a worm and set back out in front of them, just throw down the sides of them and fish that brush that's 5 to 10 foot deep, and probably going to spank everybody's butt.
Gotcha.
He's going to get around 3 or 4 good docks throughout the day, and he's going to catch a couple of 5s and catch some other good ones to go with them, and he's going to be hard to beat.
I got 2 things out of that paragraph he just got. I made notes. I'm making notes today.
Okay.
So the first thing that threw me off a little bit, he said patch of wood. Do you have any idea what he's talking about when he says a patch of wood?
Brush.
You said brush first, and then you said a patch of wood.
Well, brush.
Stump.
Stuff in the water.
Yeah.
There's stumps in this lake?
Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Deadfalls.
Just stop.
A rock, even. Right now, those
rocks.
Fish are getting around rocks. They get around them big ones right now. Anytime you throw gizzard and shad on the bank, big rocks make a difference. You know,
Threadfin or gizzard?
gizzards.
I was checking.
We have a big dispute about
No, it's not a dispute.
I know.
that. There's no,
It's-
there's no.
Have you seen both?
I don't know. I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them if I knew it.
Well, one's bigger.
Which is there in here? And
I'm not.
there's no threadfin in here.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
It's gotten so bad I don't even know. You know, when,
Supposedly, a conservation agent said there's only one kind.
what and we'll have. I played phone tag back and forth with Stephanie, the Missouri biologist. We're gonna have her on this winter. You know, when things slow down. But she got into the field and we just got around a little bit. But we're gonna have her on, and she knows that's on the table. So I've submitted my questions to her to have all the scientific data.
Is she going to have an earring on to be able to hear the answers so she gets them right?
I don't know. The one that looks like an earring, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, with
I
the
think,
little speaker in it.
yeah, we'll see. But I think I prepped her so on a lot of things.
I mean, I might be totally wrong. I'm not backing off that I think they're both in here because I'm
not saying there isn't.
I'm pretty sure they're both in here.
Do you know, I had a, I even hate to say this on the air.
There's too much
Gizzards.
variation.
Okay, they say there's no threadfin. They're all gizzards, right?
Gizzard here.
Gizzards in the lake. No threadfin. So we'll see.
Those ones we had in the boat the other day sure look like threadfin.
They're
to
little
me.
threadfin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one. Have you guys ever caught a goldeneye?
Yeah, a few, but not.
They're in here, but they don't
Yeah.
talk about them at all. And they're
Yeah.
a toothy looking shad.
Yeah,
They're big.
I caught a giant one on Gunnersville and I think in a VFL one day
Salt.
on a rattle trap, freaking like pound and a half long. Thought I had a bass, and they
Yep.
fight like a trout.
I'll never
Jump, flounce around.
Speaking
Yeah.
of junkfish, I will never forget. Your old man came in here one night after a tournament. He's pre-fishing, and he's like, "I got one of the meanest sons of bitches you ever seen." And he pulls out this fish, and it looked like a lionfish, like saltwater lionfish. It was an Oscar, like a really hairy old, like aquarium fish.
Sure.
He was about 2.5 pounds, and we put him in the aquarium, and he was so mean because he'd been in that lake so long that we had to end up getting rid of him because he was killing everything in the tank. But
Yeah.
there's aquarium fish in here too. But I was gonna say I had this really cool idea, which would get me in a bunch of trouble, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I have a couple of yellow perch, and I thought I have an avenue to get them in quantity.
Oh,
I wonder if they would hold in an area. If
I
they would
don't-
school up like fingerling yellow perch.
they're like a crappie. I mean, they're
So
big
for me-
schooling fish.
For me, not doing anything illegal, let's just say, what if I wanted to put them into a private lake, and the lake was, let's say,
Now,
I don't know, 30,000 acres,
now
and I wanted to put them in a cove.
you
I wonder
know
if they'd stay there.
now about 50 years ago, that's how stripers got in these lakes, right?
Well, yeah, and
Somebody said, "Wow, I really think those would take off," and
Yeah.
they did.
yeah. Well, I mean, same
Yeah.
thing with that I still don't understand the state muskie record is out of this lake, and
Yeah.
there's never been a documented stalking of
never
it.
been one turned
Yeah,
loose.
they just the only documented case that we've heard was that there was 500 fingerlings that were cut loose because the truck broke down in like 1973,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, the state record came out of there. But that's
According to the state of Minnesota, they just all live in the rivers. So anything that touches a river, they just keep dumping the things in.
what's that?
Muskies.
Muskies?
Yeah,
Standard muskies or tigers?
mostly standard.
Okay.
Tigers are mules. They want them to reproduce. So.
Ooh, you're a muskie guy.
Oh, I'm not a muskie guy. I just live in
Lives in
muskie
Minnesota.
country.
Huh.
Of course, he knows.
Well, you typically think if you're from Minnesota, the first thing I think of are tiny crappie and walleye.
Tiny crappie.
According to the crappies I saw being caught today off of one of the docks where they were flinging underneath there, catching them every cast, we got some big crappies in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I've never said this was a trophy lake. This is a quantity lake.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And I think that's why everybody here eats crappie because you can go down on any given day and catch 9 and 10 inch crappie. And I say this, and it comes back to haunt me because this year I was going to fill the freezer, and I've yet to catch 2 limits.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. But typically, a guy can walk down to a dock and catch a limit in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
With a minnow,
Sure.
just jacking around. But this lake is so plentiful, and that'd be another biologist question. They say that fish grow to their environment. So if you have one fish in a 500-gallon aquarium, he's going to get great big. You put 100 in there, they all grow equally to the capacity. And I think there's something to be said with the crappie fishery here because
Yeah.
it's so immense that they just don't get up in that class. And our growing season is shorter.
But they have an
Because it gets cold.
unlimited supply of shad to eat, though.
They do.
I mean,
They
it's
do.
not like they don't have food.
It's, you know, and I didn't know it's going to turn into a crappie show, but this is it still baffles my mind. If you think about the Lake of the Ozarks, is probably 40, 50,000 docks. And on any given day, let's say 1%, which would be 5,000, right?
Right.
5,000 people go down and catch 30. 2 people go down and catch 30 crappie, their possession in 2 days. That's 150,000 fish a day. And I know it's more than that because you're not factoring in vacationers and recreational boaters. I mean, they're taking hundreds of thousands of fish out of here every week, you know, and it doesn't affect it at all. So it makes me wonder the population is so incredibly large that balance of that fishery is so big. You know, it's one of the questions I sent to the biologist too about mortality rates in bass. You know, we all know that, you know, and I say we all know, I truly believe that the bass fishing industry and tournament fishing is kind of it's a balance on the fishery as well. It's the same as harvesting. They factor in the mortality rate. You know, not 100% of those fish, if you return them all, they all survive. We all know that.
Yeah.
You know, you deep hook one, you keep him alive away, and you turn him loose, he swims off, and then he's turtle food. It happens.
I wish I still had the Bassmaster magazine. I don't remember what year that was in, but they had a study that they did one time, and I think the mortality rate of immediate catch and release was like 17 or 18%.
I think it's been 20 for a long time. You know,
so, and then we're going to put them in a live well, drive them around, and we can talk about Kentucky Lake. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to blame the carp there, but for years and years and years, FLW, BASS, the Opens, the Elites, the Tour, the everybody, the Strands, didn't matter what it was, they were all there in June, post-spawn, right when those fish got out there. It was 120 degrees outside, slick calm, you know, the surface temp at 90 degrees, you're pumping 90-degree water in, and then they wonder why the fish die.
Yeah.
Well, there's not enough oxygen in the water for those fish to survive, and then you're going out, and then it's a rough day on the way back, and you're pounding the hell out of them going across the lake. I think that they did as much damage tournament-wise as anybody else did on that lake.
I agree to an extent. I've spent a lot of time. I think Kentucky Lake, I've spent probably more time there, or as much time as I do fishing on this lake. And the undertone there, and the locals don't want to talk about it, but the dirty word there is called pollution.
Yeah.
And I think that was the big contributing factor at the TVA, and just too many bad things running into the lakes. And so
But the smallmouth took off.
Oh yeah, and you know, and the
so
lake
smallmouth don't take pollution where largemouth will. Largemouth can live in a sewer.
Right. But and we talked about it the last couple of weeks. That fishery. I mean, we can talk about it, but they spent hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, Mitch McConnell got him some money down there, and they did eradication programs for the
Asian
carp. Yeah.
Asian.
And then whatever happened, the fishery just rebounded.
Right.
You know, whatever steps it had taken. So, and I agree, it's not the carp, but. Because if we're going to have that conversation, we can talk about the lower Osage here in Missouri. You know, just one fish gets over that dam, and some butthole will do it at some point. You know, because I can see the old codger in his overalls going, "Those damn cruisers." Wait a minute, I can fix this.
Yeah,
there goes the light bulb.
They'll take their 5-gallon bucket to the other side and go, "Whoops."
Let's get off this subject. Let's not give anybody any ideas.
Oh, I guarantee that's prison time if they ever get caught.
I know the guy that would do that.
Goodness.
Let's just stop
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. It would be a bad
no
deal.
ideas.
And that's yeah. Well, we can't talk about
That's
cheating,
called
so I can talk
domestic
about
terrorism, is what
Yeah,
that's called.
that would be.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty bad. I couldn't even imagine what that would do to the Yacht Brokers Association and that whole industry in itself.
Ask Daryl Robertson's wife what she thinks about them jumping carp.
She get hit in the head.
Knocked her out.
Nice.
Knocked her out while she was out there prowling around with him. About a 50-pounder hit her right in the
Just
side
like
of
a
the
flying
noodle.
seagull.
That's right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. So we talked about junk fish. We talked about the absence of bait. We've talked about the lake being cruddy this weekend. Tony's like, he's in for a good time tomorrow at
it'll be
takeoff.
fine.
That's going to be all right.
It'll be fine.
Like I told him the last couple days, that's not a bad thing. You know, that they're not everywhere. You know, that's really kind of a good thing.
Is that
because there's a lot of guys out there that's sitting around right now bitching and moaning. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can catch one.
Right.
Well, you just got to happen on to him, and he's got, you know, out of the 3 or 4 days he's been out there practicing, you know, he's got half a dozen spots where he knows there's a few fish, and really, I personally think that's enough. I think that's enough to go to this one and catch a couple, and then go to that one and catch one or two, and some of them you're going to go back to the next day and catch another one. It's if they're everywhere, then everybody catches them. And it makes for one of those tournaments that's really hard to distance yourself from anybody. One like this right here, you can actually win. You can beat people in this one.
Well, am I wrong, or have I seen I've seen kind of phenomenon myself, because we've talked about magic spots. Those few spots, and there are a few, they seem to replenish themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's been more common this year than I've seen in the past. You can fish a hole out, and then you're looking for new spots. But you go back the next day, and there's another one there.
Well, you just like I was saying earlier. You pull up to 10 docks, and they're on 2 of them. Okay, there's a reason they pulled to those 2 first. We may not see it, and it at first glance might not be brutally apparent. They just didn't swim up there and, oh, these look good. No, there's some reason they pulled up on those couple first. Right. And so therefore, out of that whole little batch, when everything gets up there, then yeah, you might catch them off all 10 of them. But you're always going to catch them off them ones where they start, because there's some reason that those were good enough for them to start on and be there.
And if you jerk 2 of them out of that hole, and then the next ones that are sitting under
right.
there's probably 15, 20 of them under that dock.
Right.
So
don't leave fish to find fish.
No.
Well, but you
not
may
right now.
You may catch 2, and then the next day you might catch 2, and the next day you might catch 1 or 2, and and they might spread out and they might disperse out.
And we talk about it a lot. You know what that gets you? A check.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you may not get the win, but you sure get paid.
Well, that's obviously goal 1.
Yeah,
goal 1's get paid.
Getting the check line.
Yeah.
We talk and we see big stringers, and Cops and Bobbers took 24. Last year Jim Dill had 28 and won this time of the year, but that's a 1-day deal.
Right.
2-day deals. It takes 16 a day.
Is this a 2 or a 3?
3.
This is a 3.
This is a 3.
Yeah.
2 with the cut.
And I would take any takers that it takes 48 something to win. That's what it's going to take. It takes 16 a day is what it will take to win this tournament.
I think you're a little strong there.
Somebody might take. Oh no, it's going to take at least that.
Huh.
The only way it will be different than that is if somebody really whacks them, and there is a chance of that. Lawson caught one that weighed 738 the other day. You throw that in on top of 16 pounds. Guess what? Now you got a whale of a day.
And that sucks because that fish ain't going to bite again.
It's different right now.
Is it?
The first one to pull up, he's got a really good hiding spot. And if he was nice to him and patted him on the butt and sent him back in there real nice and gentle, I believe I can catch him again.
I feed them with peanut butter and jelly so they come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's one of those deals. If it was a great hiding spot for him to catch him out of first, he's going to go back. That's going to be his little spot. And it's probably got all to do with the food. That's the best, easiest place for him to catch food. The bigger you get, the better you are at catching food. Yeah. Look at us. I mean, and when I say us, I look around the room, okay? Bigger guys are professional eaters. It's amazing you skinny people stay alive. The bigger you get, the better you are at what you do. And a 7-pounder
for the fat guy.
Right.
a 7-pounder is a professional. I mean, they know where to stand to where the food comes to them, to where they don't have to exert a lot of energy. And it's, like I say, you might not see it at first glance, but there's a reason it's there.
All right. So this question is posed for both of you because I'm curious, and it's trying to think the right way to ask it. So you go out, we've all been out there, you go out, you pre-fish, and you catch that big fish, okay? He's there, and like you said, you were gentle putting him back. You didn't hook him really hard, whatever the reasons are. You go back, you go hit that spot, he doesn't bite, he doesn't, he's just not there then. At what point do you give up on that fish, and how many times do you try?
If it's one that size, I'm going to try it every day. Every day of the tournament. If I go by that fish, I'm going to stop and fish it. If as I'm coming back down the lake, I run by that fish, I'm going to pull in and try it again. Because the first time you tried, it might have been out chasing a shad.
Right.
And then you come back 2 hours later, and she's really in her hiding spot. You slide your jig in there that time, and it comes right in her face, and, she bites it.
You agree with that one, Tony?
Yeah, I do. I mean, last year on day 3, I had a fish. I had a chance to win last year on day 3. I went, I think, in 8th place or something like that going into day 3. Caught 2 itty-bitty ones in the morning, and then I had 3 opportunities the rest of the day, literally 5 keeper bites all day. And one of them was on a plopper, came over top of a tree, and it was like somebody just dropped a cannonball. I mean, right on a tree, just the whole world blows up. And that fish is at minimum 4. I mean, when they blow up like that hard, they're minimum a 4-pound fish. I threw a couple times over it. I flipped the jig in there. I took out a shad, buried it in the tree. Flat buried it in the tree. It took us like 15 minutes to get the thing out with the net. $65 bait down there, just banging the heck out of it. I came back at that fish 3 times that day trying to get it. Every time I passed it, I stopped on it. It just never happened, but they can reposition on. And then there was another tree that wasn't too far away from that one that I hit both of them every time I went there, trying to think, well, maybe she swam over here and stopped. And
gotcha. That's a good point. You mentioned going to its hiding place. Tony mentions repositioning. You spook a fish out. There's no, I guess that's a good tip. If there's something comparable close, do you take a look at that too?
I spent, I've spent my whole life around these clear lakes. Table Rock here. When I was growing up fishing a lot, and when you watch a bass, even when they're spawning and stuff, they just take little trips. They don't always just stand in a small area. Even when they're spawning and there's a bed there, just every now and then you're standing there watching and you're like, oh, where's she going? And she'll just take off swimming and paddling. And she might paddle up the bank 20, 30 yards. Now, she'll always come back, but there's lots of times that they take, I don't know if they're actually going looking for food.
Exercising.
Or if they're just stretching their legs, they're a live animal, they don't just always stand at the food trough, they move around, do other things. And I really believe that they do that like right now. I think they have an area where they feel very comfortable to stand in. But then on any given day, you throw a little bit of sunshine and wind out there, they might move around to chase a shad or something. It might blow some shad in. Might blow in on the bank a little bit and stir up some crawdads right on the bank, and she might run up there on the bank and chase around something. You don't know. But there's a place where she feels comfortable to just hang out. And that's where you want to find her. If you find her there, that's her house.
And we're talking about largemouth.
Yeah,
because spots and smallies they don't behave that way.
Well,
typically.
Well, spotted bass can. Spotted bass can. Smallmouth, no. Smallmouth, I've got a buddy of mine that lives in New York and chases them all day, and he calls them gypsy whores. Because they just swim and screw, and that's all they do. They just paddle around and eat and
make babies,
and that's it. And largemouth are more territorial. They find a good place, and if it's a good place for a big one, it's always a good place for a big one. There's a reason a 6-pounder stands under one corner of a dock rather than any of the other corners. Now, if you can figure that out at an early time in the day, you're going to be the tournament winner at the end of the day. So.
Yeah. Oh, crystal ball though.
Like I've said a million times, a big bass.
Is that the boy?
Look who it is.
Is it Payton?
It's Payton.
We can find out what number he is.
You'll have to. No, it's Payton. He's not fishing. Or is he fishing? No fishing.
No.
All right.
Hey, you're on the show. What's going on?
Hey, I was going to see if we were on the Nico and Ned rig version of this.
Nico and Ned rig. There are no Nico and Ned rig guys on this podcast. Okay, no. We are all.
Maybe from the Great White North, we might learn something.
Oh, that was a cut right there.
Man, he knows you well.
He does.
He does.
He is kind of a smallmouth fetcher, but still, I think being in this part of the world, he knows not to be throwing Ned rigs and stuff like that.
Well,
Dead make you dead.
hopefully not.
Yeah,
Not if he wants to beat Lawson anyway.
that's right. That's right. He knows. He knows the rules.
I just want to beat the other 149 guys.
Yeah.
I don't care about Lawson.
Did you hear that? He said he just wants to beat the other 149 guys. He's not worried about Lawson. No.
Well, that's
Second place is good too. Second place is good too.
All right, your minute's up. Get off the phone.
All right. Well, did you hit him straight today? Good golf day.
I did.
Good.
I played good golf.
Blasphemy.
Over a few jigs. So
I know, right?
all in all.
All right. That's all we wanted to hear.
Wrong
We
line.
don't want to hear any more about your game or nothing. We're not interested.
We're
We're not golfers on this
60
podcast.
seconds with Peyton giving Tony Hatten a hard time.
Yep.
All
That's
right. We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
So you a Nico guy?
No,
No, not a finesse fisherman.
I throw Senko.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I hate drop shot. I hate Ned rig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
I fish
He's-
jigs.
Yeah, he's kind of in a part of Missouri where jig fishing's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he lives is kind of
They don't know what
fish,
that is.
fish big or go home. One of them type deals.
Gotcha. So okay. The other, I'm going back on my notes. The other thing he said was a guy will schlep around. Did you hear that?
Schlep around, yeah.
That's a guy that throws his trolling motor in the water and says, "Okay, this is fine right here," and he fishes down the whole left-hand side of a creek.
Oh, he
And when I-
starts one end and just covers
And,
it.
and when I say the left-hand side of the creek, okay, he fishes
Oh man,
deep
I'm a
docks,
schlepper.
shallow docks. He fishes just whatever's in front of him. He just takes off fishing. Somebody's going to probably do that and catch him.
That's what
but
I do every time.
But I bet they
your
don't
time of
catch
year.
him. I bet it's not that he has a special bait. I bet you'll find he'll have a 10-minute stretch here where he catches them. Then he'll go an hour and a half without catching one. He'll get in another little batch of them. He'll catch 2 or 3, and then he'll go another 2 hours without catching one, and then he'll catch another one. But he'll keep going in a straight line and never stop.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have the patience to do that.
And normally for me with fishing in the South, this is the most patternable lake that I've probably ever fished in the South. And right now the patterning is a little bit difficult.
it is.
It's
It's
normally
just
you
because
can
the weather conditions.
Yeah.
It's,
well, it's just that they're just all spread out, and I don't know that they're confused. I said the confused earlier, but they're just in all over in the water column. It doesn't matter from a foot deep to 60 feet deep. Those fish are kind of everywhere right now.
yeah. I'd say I'm a schlepper, but we're not. We have a stretch of bank we call the Gauntlet, and it's
You're
deep.
the furthest thing from
It's
a
deep,
slepper.
It's deep water, but all the docks are the same. But I'll go a mile and fish it because those docks are all exactly the same.
Yeah, but you go on those specific docks.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't just fish there and
No, we'll skip 2 or 3 docks. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're looking for specific stuff. That
Yeah.
that's relative, but just
you have confidence that every dock you're throwing at, this is the one.
right.
Some of these guys don't have that. They just go fishing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good old fashioned. Just put your head down and find them.
You know what? Let me give you my definition of a schlepper. All right, he's the guy that went out pre-fishing and saw somebody in a wrap boat fish that stretch of bank and really didn't see exactly where he was fishing. So the next day he goes back and starts at one end and covers it all to see where the hell the other guy was. That's my definition of a schlepper.
That's true.
That's a pirate.
A pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Arg.
He's trying to make it as nice as he can.
Yeah. Well, Josh Jones is selling T-shirts now.
A hijacker.
Josh Jones is selling T-shirts now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it says "Beware of the whole buzzard." So he's.
Oh, that was Josh Jones. I thought that was Milliken.
It might be. Maybe they're
I
all
thought it
selling the
was
same
Mil-
damn shirt. But yeah,
All I saw was
I s-
the D-bun on the top of the head, and I think it was Milliken.
yeah.
They both got long hair.
Tomato.
Do they?
Tomato.
Yeah.
It's all the same. But yeah, so yeah, those guys.
6 cents is selling them.
Okay, so it's a 6-cent shirt.
Yep.
Got it. They're all in the same house.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yep.
So who cares? I
that's right.
just thought a whole buzzard's a term.
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of a guy that comes and steals your spot? What do you call him other than profanity?
I
Trouble.
call him bruised up by the end of the day. He better be a great big son of a gun, or he's gonna get bruised before the week's out.
You know, we've had shows on etiquette, but you know that's a challenge for Tony tomorrow too, because you know as big as this lake is, it's going to fish small. I think this week, you know, I think a lot of people are going to fish a lot of like areas.
I'm going to tell you, me and Tony fished a couple of days, and Tony better hope he don't break down, because there ain't many people to carry him in. we didn't see nobody.
Yeah, well, that
I
means
mean, we fished.
so
We
you're making
fished.
you're making a trip.
We fished a 20
little
mile
bit.
20-mile strip of lake, and boy, we just didn't see anybody. And like I told him just a minute ago, man, the glaze must be full of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it is.
I
But
think-
a lot of guys, when they struggle here, and that's typical. If they struggle here, they're not burning no gas.
Sure.
And I got news for you: the biggest fish population on Lake of the Ozarks is
in
in
the
the Grand Glades.
Right.
So
or the 6 and in to the dam.
that's
You
true.
know? And I figured in my mind, you know, and I'm not being negative. It's just the fact of the sport. I'm guessing 50 of them will be up there on their technology.
Could be.
You know,
Absolutely.
trying to
There's-
find those fish out there in that deeper water.
The
still.
Invitational was won that way last year, so there's going to be a lot of guys that probably try to make that happen.
And the other thing we had was last year we had a 200 boat tournament in the open, and then as soon as that was done, the Toyota started up.
Yeah, it was the
So
following
there
week.
was,
Right.
I mean, you had to practice everywhere because there were boats everywhere. There was 200 anglers out here
Right.
fishing in practice
Yeah, they're jacking your
that
practice
were
water.
that were already fishing the tournament, and now you had another 170, 180, however many we had last year. The whole lake is full. I mean, 400 guys that,
yeah.
I mean, know their head from a hole in the ground a little bit more than, you know, I mean,
You should come back for the Big Bass Bash
for what?
just to see it.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
I don't
'cause
want to be on the water
A lake
for
that's
that.
110 miles long
No.
and 1,500 miles of shoreline, and you still fish around 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You know, it's insane. You know,
I've fished Lake Chickamauga. That's
He's-
enough. Thank you.
Tony's fished with the Hebdens enough that he's not friendly either out there on the water.
really.
He don't want to talk to people. I don't want to. Hey Ed, how you doing? You know, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Even though it's Ed, I would talk to Ed, but I don't
even-
want to talk to everybody out there on the
Do
water.
you call him by name?
I don't.
Talking to me, watching his
I don't call him by name. No, most of the time it's, you know, bad stuff.
Just yeah. Okay.
Hey, some bitch, you know, stuff like that. It's
So
bad.
bitch.
Yeah. I don't like talking to people. If you're close enough to talk to me, you are way too close to me because I am grouchy sometimes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's get off
You
that.
know him?
I do.
All right.
I just did a guide deal for the
Well, we'll call him out. Hey, Terry Mitchell.
yeah.
Tony says hi back. There you go. How's that?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we just did a guide trip for the female veterans.
So is Terry a woman?
Terry is a man.
Okay.
He's one of the other guys.
Why'd you say you were taking out women? Oh, he was another guy.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah,
I got
we
it.
had
Okay, I got it now.
7 boats, 14 vets.
Yeah, it sounded wrong. He's like, yeah, that's
You need,
Terry.
you need
You
to
know?
get away from that subject, all right?
Yeah.
He's going to lead you down a path that your wife's
That's
going to
fine.
not forget.
He tripped me up anyway because I was thinking. I mean, I've never heard of a female veterans tournament. That's a different twist.
Well, it wasn't a tournament.
Or a
It's
guy, you know, just-
it's a women's weekend where
Yeah.
they go and stay in an Elks Lodge and do a bunch of
yeah, it's super
different
cool.
things,
I
but we
wasn't
guide
going
out.
anywhere
Yeah.
with that. I
It's
just thought
getting
it was
worse, Tony.
That's
Get away
fine.
from it.
No,
Just, just steer away from it. You know,
I wasn't going anywhere with that. I mean,
it's a train wreck waiting
the
to
Elks
come
Lodge
to
down
an
here next
end.
week is taking veterans fishing, but it's just veterans. You know, it's like that's.
Well, they have a women's only weekend. That's all.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
You know, I had a group of gals come in last November during the antlerless portion of the deer season, and they called it Doe Day, and I'd never heard that one. I said, "What the hell's Doe Day?" And they said, "You know, we're a bunch of does. We're going out doing our own thing. You know, while the guys are out there getting bucks." And I thought, okay.
There you
I said,
go.
"But it's the antlerless portion." She's like, "Shut up and give me a glass of wine." You know, whatever. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, should have given me a glass of wine. Show me
Yeah,
how
just
to
give me a
load my
glass of wine.
gun.
We're shopping. I'm like, I got it. So yeah,
Show me how this 30-06 works. You know.
yeah. They're getting,
I'm
they're getting
kidding.
nasty in here too. Now they're
now see
now
what
they're
now I've
online.
just offended women and deer hunting.
So now they're online saying that Tony's the walleye guy.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
See, and I said when we started out with this, I said, you know, Minnesota, all I think about are tiny crappie and walleye.
Yep.
And he's like, nope. And now I'm saying, oh, no, he's the walleye guide.
Well,
guy.
one of the gals that I guided for, she.
Do you have a bottom bouncer in your boat?
I do not.
You sure?
100%.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I do have a crappie
About a
bobber.
dipsy diver.
How about a dipsy diver?
I have stand-up bobbers in my boat right. Well, no, they're in my truck now. I moved
Well, you
them
always
out
have to
yesterday.
have a bobber in the boat. You never know, but it'll always come in handy anytime.
Yeah. No, one of my gals got a 26.5-inch walleye on a
Nice.
wacky rig Senko. So
You should ask him about crawler harnesses or something like that. If he's got
you
a
want me to
crawler
tie you a
harness.
couple up, or
Oh, he is a walleye
Oh,
guy.
we can do it.
Oh, I
there you
could
go.
do it.
I was just
Do you have
joking.
the special tool? I wrap it around and dip my hand.
it's 2 snell knots.
I'm just
Show
saying.
Show him your nightcrawler trick. He may
Did you
not
try
know.
it?
Yes, I
Did
did.
it work?
It worked.
Oh, the
Absolutely.
clap on them.
That's
Holy
it.
crap, look at this.
Yeah, here we go.
The only nightcrawler trick I've ever heard of, and
Yep.
he does know it.
Of course, I had forgotten how to do it, and I was trying to show him, and I was smacking them, and they were just like curling up, and they were getting pissed, and I'm like, I forgot to cup one hand, to stall them out. But yeah. So that's a, and in case nobody online has any idea what we're talking about, the guys up north, they'll stun a nightcrawler so he lays long and flat, but you don't kill him. And the way you can do that is you cup your hand, and you put your nightcrawler in it, and then you smack that cup, and the sound kind of just stuns them out. And then you can rig them, and they won't curl up on you. And you can fish them like a Carolina rig worm.
I
pretty
did not
handy.
believe it, but it is true.
Yep, and it works. So there you go. Tip of the day for you walleye
There
guys.
you go.
I just threw I dumped some night crawlers out the
Yeah,
other
you had
day
a
out
night
of
crawler.
Casey's.
In
Yeah,
your boat.
Yeah, you
I
had a
had
night crawler
I
in
had a
his-
thing of night crawlers
in
in
his
my
cooler.
boat.
Nice.
And I fertilized the Casey's parking lot so the grass will keep growing well.
I think most of the crackheads just do their own fertilizing on the sides of the road, on a Thursday night. So that's a whole nother deal.
That's all right.
Probably picked them up and made a snack. So anyway.
Oh, they
that's
went
one
down in the
story.
ground.
Yeah. So, what's next?
Well, you haven't tested, Tony.
We
The
haven't
5 fisherman deal.
And we haven't done that in a few weeks.
No, we
I
haven't.
kind of got sidetracked.
Well,
but
that's because it's just you and me.
That's because I wanted to get off of. So for about 5 weeks, Tony, I trashed the entire industry. So I was trying to not be so negative. So we've been talking more fishing and telling stories and kind of stuff. But one of the questions I always ask every guest was, can you name like 5 of the top touring anglers on tour right now of either series? Can you do it?
The opens count.
Do opens count?
Yeah,
Far
I don't
away.
care.
Let's see
Well,
you got-
Easton Fothergill's leading the opens points.
I've never
He's
heard
from
of him.
Minnesota.
Okay, never heard of him.
So
What's his last name?
Fothergill.
Fothergill.
Father
Yeah.
Gill.
He's won 2 opens this year.
Okay, so he's a Minnesotan. So that
He is returning to the Classic. He's a college champion, bracket
I get
champion
that.
from last year. He is a Minnesotan.
But I said it with the soap accent.
That's right.
It's
JT
Minnesotan.
Tompkins. There'd be 2.
Is that Minnesotan also?
No,
Okay.
that's another story.
Okay. Go ahead.
Trey McKinney.
Okay. I said anglers. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
not teenagers.
Not
Scopers.
teenagers. Yeah.
Not
No,
teenagers.
I'm not going scopers.
No,
I'm
he
going to
doesn't
So-
care. He just means
Yeah.
new guys.
Yeah, people you heard of.
These new guys that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
Oh,
And see, I said top fisherman, but he went
You
3. He got to 3 and he went.
Kyle Patrick. No, I can keep
Kyle
going.
Patrick. All right, never heard of him.
He won the Lake of the Ozarks Open last year.
Don't know him. Do you know him?
Yep.
I don't know him.
Jay Shakirat,
Never heard of him.
Wisconsin boy.
Yeah. Do
He's,
you know anybody outside of the northern states?
Of course I do.
I'm just asking.
The one that won here is from Alabama, right?
Kyle Patrick's from New York.
Jesus Christ, they're all from up there.
See?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh.
Well, you did good.
Yeah, you
I
did
don't
better
know.
than anybody else has.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm all that impressed with the names because we let you use opens, but
Well, I don't have to use open. I can name more.
Who won Red Crest last year? See?
Dustin Connell,
Who won the Bassmasters Classic?
Hamner.
All right. Hey, he's the first one. That's hats off to you, buddy. You're gonna get the prize.
I'm not sure what he does for a job, but he's got lots of time.
He's the first one.
He's the first one to
we
know
can
all
never
this.
remember Hamner's name. Week to
Justin
week.
Hamner.
Yeah.
Justin
Kyle Welcher
Hamner.
would be another of the young anglers. Won the Angler of the Year last year.
Okay, now you're just showing off. Just stop.
Yeah. So if you want to go, yeah, we can go down this road. Let's
Stop.
test him.
We really don't. We really don't care about any of them. Just stop.
I'll give him an
You know.
easy one. We'll test in the other direction. Who is the only angler to win a classic through the normal qualifying process? Starting out from the Bass
Brian
Federation.
Kershaw.
Very good, Kershaw. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you knew that.
I do that.
Yeah, he
I
was
knew
like-
that. I just
He pulled it pretty quick.
yeah.
What, is that too easy of a question?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. He's the only one.
I got it.
He's the only Federation angler ever to win, right?
Right,
Pretty sure.
But,
Yeah.
He is
but
the
there
only
are
one.
guys that focus on today's,
And I
the
think
last 15 years, and guys have no idea about the past. I'm feeling Tony out here.
The
And
coup-
I think Terry McWilliams has got the highest finish of any of the other anglers from the.
I've been clutching this tonight.
Terry's qualified a couple of times,
Yeah,
too.
he finished 4th at Lay Lake. Fishing out of
So
a.
What about the one foreigner, Eusta? He qualified a couple times through the
Oh yeah,
Federation.
Jerry Eusta.
Yeah.
Yep.
South Africa or wherever.
I think 3 times.
Yeah.
that's how you make a world championship. You have to have a foreigner in there.
Oh, you're unhooked.
Man,
Nobody's officially listening to you now.
Unplugged.
Yeah, unplugged completely.
Forget about the filter.
Yeah.
God
Don't have-
pulled the plug on you. We didn't have to.
They all probably prefer it whenever I don't talk. So,
What's
Yeah.
the book? What's your book there?
so those that can't see, we're remodeling the studio.
Are,
So we took
are we talking to the blind, or what are you talking about? For those who can't see.
for those who can't see the
seeing
studio,
impaired?
the
You should say the
studio.
seeing impaired.
For those that can't see the other side of the camera, we tore the place up.
Oh, okay.
Did you notice the floor's missing?
I did. I
Did you
did
notice that we're like we
only
turned
only after your dad pointed that out to me the other
Nice.
day. The
Okay,
floor's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, so we took the floor up. We moved the studio. We're kind of in a hodgepodge situation.
Yeah.
So I moved our decorative wall, and
Yes,
I
sir.
stumbled across. We have a bunch of really cool books, by the way.
You should say studio like Phil Collins.
Studio. Isn't
that Phil
That one?
Collins?
Yes.
Yeah, please don't start singing all of you.
I can sing. So I found a book. Do you know Larry Colombo? Mm-hmm. He wrote a book called "The Living Legends of American Sport Fishing." See that?
I see Al Linder.
Yep, that's a pretty cool book. Unfortunately, you're not in it.
Larry,
but-
Larry Colombo's old as dirt.
well, he's-
I don't. Is Larry still alive?
I don't know, but
He was.
this book
Wasn't
was
he a detective on TV?
this book was copyrighted in '85. So I don't know
He
when
was-
the printing was, but that was way before your dad won the classic.
Yeah.
He won in '88.
88. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes through, and there's just like it's 1-page stories of like. And
Larry-
they're not all bastards. There's saltwater guys and all kinds of stuff.
Larry
But-
started Hummingbird.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I got to just, and real quick, I'm not going to get in this book too bad, but the point is that I'm ditching the poem at the end of the show.
Oh, cool.
And this book is full of fisherman quotes. So I'm going to give a old school fisherman's quote
Sweet.
every week because there's super cool stuff in here. But he gives thanks. And it's so cool because this book is so old. He gives special dedication that aren't in the book. I'm going to throw some names out, okay? Because it's some good ones. Dan Bailey. No, I'm not.
No.
Ray Bergman. Joe
Yep.
Brooks. Julio Buell. Nick Cream Sr.
Yep.
Senior, mind you. Lou Childre,
Yep.
which you know him, right?
Lou's Reels.
Yes. Captain Tommy Gifford.
Yep.
Theodore Gordon. Zane Gray. James
Zane Gray?
Hedden.
Zane Gray's huge in saltwater.
Yeah. James Hedden. Edward Riggs, Hewitt, R.D. Hull, Jason Lucas, I'm going to buzz down, Bill Moore, Cecil Poss, Homer Road, William Shakespeare Jr., Ted Trueblood, Jack Welch, Lester Westermoreland, and Fred Young.
Huh.
And those are the people they just dedicated to help with the book.
Yeah.
So that the people in here, I mean, you go through it, and it's just super cool. But all the pictures, I'm going to have to put some up next week. I'll post them when I do the poem. Because, like, look at Mary Martin. She's like 35 in here, you know. So there's some really cool stuff. So I have some quote I'm going to pull out, and we'll do a quote at the end of the week. And one of my favorite outdoor riders is Homer Circle.
Yep.
He's the quote tonight. So it's a good one because it's dedicated to you.
Oh.
So
All right.
so we'll get to that point. Okay?
Homer used to be used to come to the Bassmasters Classic and be one of the press guys, be in the boats, go in the boats. Till he got a little old. He got a little older, and he decided that was a little too much for him. And then he just showed up and would write stories and stuff like that. But I actually got to go out in the boat with him. He liked new guys. It's like he kind of wanted to see who you were all about, And
I think he wanted to learn.
And one of the first years that I qualified, I drawed him like the second day of the deal, and it was cool as hell. You want to talk about good stories? I mean, that guy had stories on people. I mean, way back when.
Yeah,
and the dawning of
bass fishing.
professional bass fishing. You know,
just bass fishing before it
yeah,
was
yes,
bass
even
fishing.
before it was bass
Yeah.
fishing. You know, just
Yeah, it was,
and the crazy thing about it was just as eat up with it when I fished with him as
yeah.
way back when. You know?
I guess that's one of those questions. If there's somebody you want to meet, living or dead, in the world of bass fishing, I would have liked to have met him, and talked to him.
Very cool
'Cause
dude.
I've read a lot of his stuff and have a few of his books, and I mean, he's one of those guys that I think you use the term "where the fish live." I think that was his main focus. He was a wade. He liked to wade in, and study them, and it didn't matter if he caught them or not. He wanted to know how they lived and how they moved, and it was pretty cool. So, but he always had really cool, very common sense stories to tell, and it's super, super cool. But anyway,
Yeah,
so we'll hit on a few of those, but
very common sense stuff.
yeah,
I mean, that was my dad. Everything my dad did was very common sense. If you would pay attention, listen to him, everything he said was just as plain as the nose on your face.
right.
Homer was all about that. That was his deal. Was just use your head. Think about it, think it through.
Both of
You
them
know?
never used the word water column. That's for
No,
sure.
I never heard either one of them use water column.
Thank you for not saying that today, too. By the way,
Yeah.
we don't.
It's
like
coming.
That. Oh no! All right. Well, we're moving into shameless plug section. You
Cool.
ready? So we'll let Tony go because I'm sure he's like out there doing it. So I'm sure he's
He's
got
actually sponsored by people.
You've got people that actually give you stuff. Is it product or money or both?
A little bit of both.
Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
not a lot of money though.
Yep. So I'm going to give you a pro tip. You ready? Hook up with a tackle store guy.
Yeah.
Get all the free product you can get. They'll buy it like for cheap, and then you get paid. There you go. You hear me? You hear me out there, pro anglers? Take your product.
There you go.
Can't give it away, but find your local tackle store guy and give him an under wholesale deal. It's win-win for everybody.
That'd be perfect.
There you go. See? Look at you. Are your wheels turning?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the ticket. So if you're up there in Minnesota and the guy gives you 50 dipsy divers to go fishing with, and you're a bass guy, take them to the walleye shop and dump them.
Sell them.
That's right.
Get your entry money. All right. Half is better than nothing.
I saw one of the pros is selling a whole bunch of line online.
Line online.
Yeah, line online.
That's kind of
So
yeah. And I think the sponsors might frown at some point, but the thing is, if they're going to help you out, they're putting the product on the market. You're getting entry fees. You're out promoting the product. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
well, if you're not getting money, if they're not paying you a whole lot of money, and that they're saying you get $5,000 in product or whatever at dealer cost or at
Sure.
whatever cost, they don't give a rip what you do with it from there.
Yeah, because
You know.
like I said, you're putting it in the fisherman's hands,
Right.
And you're able to still fish. So
They don't always just damn you for, if you get a deep discount on something for actually selling it and getting it into somebody's hands,
yeah,
where you're not necessarily making money on it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Some don't discourage that.
We can get into
But most
I
do.
guess we need to have a sponsor show one week and talk about what's good and what's bad. Because I mean, there are bad deals,
Yeah.
but we're not going to go down that road because we're almost done tonight. So who's helping you pay your bills, Tony?
Well, I was a really tough sell on lithium batteries, and I ended up hooking up with Amped Outdoors, and it was the first one that I felt comfortable talking to and feeling like I wasn't being fed a line of BS, and made me feel really good about the product. And since I've changed over to that, that's been a pretty amazing discovery, or whatever. You go from having a trolling motor getting slow at 11 o'clock in the morning to it's the same at 6 a.m. as it is at 4 p.m. And that's pretty amazing. So
Well,
that'd be definitely
two out of three at this table understand that.
Yeah,
Changes your life, doesn't it?
it does.
It really
it's
does.
pretty amazing.
And I know a little bit about Amped. I don't use Amped. I use a different company.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who, but yeah,
We know who you use.
Amped has the Bluetooth batteries, right?
Yes.
So you can go on your phone. You can check your battery stance. You can, if you're in the hotel room, you can make sure they're charging. You
Correct.
can check everything right there. It's kind of a cool deal.
It is.
So-
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, my lithiums don't have that, but
Right. And now
I
that
think it's kind of dumb. But
now,
anyway,
now
that's,
that Dion's Camus
Sorry.
his Camus dealership is no longer in business. My dealership up in Minnesota, Intune Marine out of Richmond, has been very awesome to work with. It's a real family environment, and they sell Phoenix, Vexus, and Camus, so you have a wide variety to choose from, and you can go take a bunch of test drives on
And
3
you're-
different quality boats and figure
And
out
you're
which one
running
you
a-
actually like.
You're
I'm running a
You're
Camus.
running an Earl boat?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I run a CX21. It's my favorite boat I've ever owned.
Nice. Okay. That's it.
Oh, I got more.
Well, go. You're running out of time. You gotta get on it. Let's do it.
Bagley Northland.
Bagley Lures, yeah.
Yeah.
And Northland, if
Northland-
you're a walleye guy.
Northland Fishing Tackle has come out with a lot of elite bass product. And so there's a lot of finesse stuff out there that's got heavy hook on it, where it's a stouter hook, a stout Gamakatsu. Everything's got Gamakatsu hooks on it pretty much now. And swim bait heads,
And I got
hair jigs, all kinds of
got to
different
step
things.
in. I love Northland
What?
baits for crappie fishing.
Yeah.
They have a great line of stuff. And I actually brought it into the store. It just
Oh, yeah.
here at the Southern, they don't quite grasp onto it yet. But I'm telling you guys, if you want to buy it online or come in special order from me,
Guy.
anyone, Northland stuff's good.
Guy in the
It
crowd. Guy in the crowd's talking about that. There's a real repair guy that really.
Yeah.
Is
That's
above
also.
average.
Jeez.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, there.
We'll get to him. It's
Well,
all
I can
good.
do that right now, too.
Oh my gosh.
Hey. No, I was able to bring in some reels, and Ed did a great job on them. He cleaned up 6 reels for me, and it was pretty awesome on short notice. So I do definitely appreciate that. So if you're in the Lake of the Ozarks area, then you need a quality reel repair guy. Ed is
Gotta tell
here.
you, I taught my old man well. He
Yeah.
knows how to clean. He knows how to clean a good reel.
He does.
So, but they had an
right.
interesting little system this week. So they had a secret, a quote unquote secret spot. So
Right.
he took a minnow bucket out behind the building, stashed it in a pile of crap. I think it was on some old battery or something. And every night he'd drop a couple reels off, and you guys did the exchange. It was like an after hours drug deal. He
Uh-huh.
put pick up 2, leave 2. So he kept going. So hopefully they work out for you. But yeah, it was a cool deal. So yeah. What else?
That's
Is that
it.
Tony? That's
Oh,
it? I was trying to think down the side of
Lloyd?
your boat, but I think you got them all.
Say Lloyd
Oh, I
and
got-
June.
Huh? I did at
say
the beginning
Lloyd
of the
and
show.
June?
And
Oh.
Lloyd's here tonight. Thank you, Hiawatha Beach, Lloyd and June, Morgan. And hopefully if you guys are upriver fishing the tournament and you get a little short on gas or need an ice cream,
That's right.
go check them out. Because
Gas
both of
and
them are
ice
the
cream.
best.
Before
Now,
I.
but you got to make sure, you got to let Lloyd know that you're fishing a tournament. Otherwise he's going to talk to you and you're going to have to miss the weigh-in.
That's right.
Because Lloyd's got a good story to tell too. So anyway.
Before I forget, I want to say hi to Miss Stella as well. See, she's watching.
Yep,
so
she said good luck, by the way.
I appreciate that.
You're going to need it. So what do you got, dude?
I don't think he's going to need it. I think he's going to do just fine.
He will. I mean, he
think
was
he's
top
gonna
10
be-
last
I think he's
year.
gonna sit. Yeah, I
Well,
you know, practice is relevant. You know, whatever you make out of it, and the cool thing about it is, he's got it in his head that he understands, and you just gotta. You don't need 100 bites a day. You just need 6 or 7 of the right ones. You know, and be able to consistently get that right 6 or 7 bites, and you know, I think we did just good enough that might do good.
I think you will.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which all the guys will have the dollar pool later, and we'll see where he ends up at. So, and then we'll send him a message later and say you either did it
136.
or yeah, 136.
Yeah.
No, I'm not fishing this weekend.
That starts tomorrow.
That starts
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, and I think that way in live streams also on the MLF. You can download the app, or and I'll tell you what, I'll put the link up on tomorrow on the Real Unfiltered Talk Facebook page. If you want to check that out, you can follow Tony on the way in and do that as well. So you can do that. And I don't have much this week on my shameless plug. I had some industry news. We'll save it for next week. Small stuff, nothing big.
What? 29, I
He's
think.
number 29 on day 1. So, and he's fishing with some dude. So
I gave you the name earlier, but now I don't remember it again.
you did not.
I do.
I can't remember
His
what
name
your
was
name
some-
is. So
Wins
it-
at 3 o'clock at PB2.
3:00 tomorrow. Okay.
Starts at
150
3.
boats. Probably what, 4 flights?
Oh,
6, I think.
Yeah.
6 flights? Really? They do every 20?
they
25?
Something like that.
they break them down a little bit further. It helps with the fish. You know,
Gotcha,
not getting
gotcha.
too many fish up there at one time. So
Yeah. And it's still a little hot.
yep,
So can't get that bag line too long.
that's right.
So yeah, so next week we'll have nobody on, and we'll be talking about our adventures.
That's right.
If we have one, I guess I need to get the GoPro dug out and charged up. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
gonna be a show.
It might be.
We need to film it. That's for sure.
I don't know.
If we don't need to film it, we can edit it right on the spot.
Yep. And for
Sling
those
around
of
the
you,
Hibden Hammer.
That's right.
please go to YouTube, like and subscribe us. You can watch us here on Facebook Live every Wednesday night. And I want to thank everybody for coming. We had a good crowd tonight. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. It's pretty good for a podcast.
Yeah,
You know?
not bad.
How many other podcasts have live studio audiences?
I know.
And they're rowdy.
They can be. We
Yeah.
just didn't talk about live scope a lot.
That's why we.
You gotta get here a couple hours early and get revved up.
That's right. Well,
You gotta get 3, 4 in. So
that's why we supply them with bourbon.
right.
That's right.
By now, they're just ready to go home. You know.
Ah,
So
Should I randomly pick one, or should I give the Homer quote?
do homers tonight.
All right, so Homer's was on the cover of the book.
Dan Gapin's in
I
Minnesota.
apologize for the atheist out there. This one's a little religious. So this one, and I dedicate this to you, Tony.
Never
okay?
apologize to an atheist.
Yeah. So, you know what happens when an atheist dies?
Nope.
Nothing.
Right.
So-
There's no atheists in foxholes. So.
That's right. All right, so this is what Homer Circle says for tomorrow. Expect to get skunked. And on your way home, take time to thank God for the privilege to fish in a free nation and enjoy the smells, sights, and sounds of his great outdoors. So I like that one.
Unless you draw the cabbage guy.
Unless you draw,
Unless
the,
you
cabbage
draw the
guy,
cabbage guy.
and then the smells outdoors are not so good.
That's right.
So, all right. So for all of us here at Real Unfiltered Talk, thanks again for tuning in. Next week, same time, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Tony, thanks so much. Good luck tomorrow. Be safe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Make sure you get your kill switch on. Don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
disqualified. Don't
Nope.
get ornery. And we'll all be watching and see where you're at. So from all of us, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Not tomorrow. We'll see you Wednesday at 6. Thanks for tuning in, guys.